Okay. I don't know what the fuck happened with the webcam. Let me share the stream again. Fuck. Technical issues. New stream here. Paste. Okay. Hey, cool. That's better then. I woke up at like 10:15, or sorry, 11:15. Just why our hair is kind of fucked up and like. Camilla was gonna do this one, but then she, once the webcam thing happened, she was like, someone else take care of this. I might switch out at some point. I streamed for like 4 hours last night. Let someone else talk. Oh hey, the Alexandrite system uploaded a new video. Thank you, Discord. How's everyone doing? I should probably change this. This was our Left at London one. She stylizes her name as like /@/. We don't have any slashes on our little things. So no, it's not actually a new video. It just reads this stream as being a new video. What should I write on the board? Should have marked the humor, sorry. And now I'm dissociating because I'm trying to shove someone out at the same time. Ugh. Love the chat with Left at London. Thanks. It was a great interview. It's not often we get to talk about Muppets with a guest. For now, I'm just putting the fucking Wi-Fi symbol on it. That's what the board is now. I'm raising awareness for DID as a singlet for singlets. I'm gonna read the rest of that in 1 second. I've royally fucked up my board here. Oh fuck, where'd the E go? There it is. There we go. I've seen many people bully others with DID because they do not understand and they spread tons of misinformation, pardon. Well, appreciate you doing that. What have you been saying? Oh. Yeah, the whole Muppet thing with the faces stuck together, that was awesome. Yeah. Yeah, it's always nice to hear creators talk about like their interests, especially when it's their interests outside of like their medium. It makes me very happy. I don't know if I actually have OSTD, but at least I'm learning while I'm here. That's valid. Alright. All that for me just to put the fucking Wi-Fi symbol on this. There we go. I'm still waking up. I hope y'all don't take this as like, oh, I don't want to be here. I'm doing this just cause. It's more like I didn't plan on being the one out for this, and I'm kind of tired. It's gonna look silly, but I'm just gonna... That's a little too much water, but I was just kind of gonna... Now my floor is a little wet. Great. It's a day. It started when the system was bullied in a local chat room. The bully said DID is dangerous and you have to get rid of all the alters. I had no idea about DID at the time, so I did a ton of research, which led me to meeting my two best friends, Medbay and Jericho's system. That's cool. Yeah, rip floor. And he streamed a lot a very short while ago, yeah. Fuck, I don't know. I can get Camilla out here to talk about chess and running. Her two interests that she's trying not to burn herself out on. You know, my voice isn't that, like, deep compared to some of the others in the system. I mean, Audrey's is probably deeper than mine. But, still takes me a second to, like, pop my voice into place in the morning. How are we doing today? We're doing okay. I'm gonna be switching out in a minute. Lots of changes last few months. Have to get a new therapist as my current one won't be able to continue. Also, autism assessment in progress. That's cool. When you poured water over your hand, I thought you were going to refresh your forehead because that's why I do it. Yeah. In German, the bishop is called the Laufer, the runner. That's really cool. Lau? Because umlauted A is like A. Laufer? Laufer? Umlaut A sounds like A instead of A, as far as I remember. We took German in high school and college. Been a while. Oh, I didn't mention that Laufer means runner. Yeah. Feel bad because I can't tell vocal changes when they switch alters and it's been like 2 months on voice chat. Our spouse still can't always tell the difference between like vocal changes in system members, and it's been like 2 years. Like, you're good. As long as you're asking and being polite. Switch headaches. What do other systems do to prevent or relieve these? We have been getting a lot very consistently, though granted there's been a lot of external stresses. We don't get switch headaches, which is probably one thing that like makes us have no qualms with just switching back and forth like nothing. So like switch headaches basically are stress headaches, so reduce the stress associated with the switch and also other stress. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Man, a lot of people here. How's it going? Someone says they use ice packs. I've never met another system that says they don't get switch headaches besides us. Thank you. Yeah, no problem. I never got it myself, to be honest. Like, I feel bad for those systems. We try to use music to make the switch as smooth as possible, because the rougher a switch is, the more painful it is. When we're about to switch, we usually get comfy, sit down with some water to help with headaches. That makes sense. We don't get them often, but when we do, oof. Some wind chime system says they get them when they rapid switch. A lot of systems. Sysend? I'm guessing that's supposed to say systems, though, between my friends. Because we don't get switch headaches, switches tend to be relatively smooth for us. Yeah, it really increases that imposter syndrome vibe, yeah. I mean, with OSCD already, it's like you're already experiencing, like, I mean, really, it's the more common version, but, like, the less talked about version of DID. And then to not get, like, the thing that people talk about, it's like, is it really, though? It is. You know, like fucking Left at London said, if the evidence for you being a system vastly outweighs the evidence against you being a system, you're probably a system. We rarely or never get switch headaches, so y'all aren't alone. Yeah, there you go. Could switch headaches be more likely to occur in DID rather than OSDD? I don't know. I have no data on that. I don't think there's really been like any like formal research into like switching headaches or anything. Good morning. How hard or easy is it to spot a switch? In myself? It depends. Like, if it's, you know, a willing switch, then, like, pretty easy. If it's, like, if it just kind of happens, it doesn't always, like, register for a bit. Sometimes it doesn't register at all. Does anyone get stress headaches too, dissociating? Maybe. I feel like that's the thing that's happened to us. I almost don't notice dissociation, so I don't know. Valid. Spend a lot of time in Kokon. That's neat. I know that we've switched on camera before, and we've switched on live streams before and stuff, but like, I fucking hate switching on camera. Like, and the thing is, like, you know, we go back and we see what parts of this video, of like every video, people are most like engaged in, mostly just for fun. But like, whenever there's a switch or anything, because people want to like, they want to see the representation, and I'm sure singlets want to see the sideshow. So like, the thing for hosts, even if you think you're similar to system members with denial and doubt, think about it. If they are similar to each other, others have said you seem to think I'm you, but I'm not. So, OSDD. Yeah. Yeah. Man. I also think about how, like, you know, a lot of us make, like, similar faces or, like, talk in similar ways. We all grew up together, and we all grew up in the same environment. Like, me and my sisters all sound the fucking same. Like, why wouldn't everyone who grew up in this body? I don't even know what buzzed there. You and do you and. Yeah. I and will. We're going to delete it from a stream if that happens, but we're probably not going to show Switch on purpose for the channel, yeah. We try not to show one in person after all. We don't mind switching in person so much as long as people aren't like, but the thing is, like, if you're watching a stream, everyone is automatically, like, to begin with. And basically, I don't want people to pick apart our switches, you know? United States of Terra has some, like, it has some really good switches and some fucking terrible ones. Like, ones where Toni Collette's just like, and then all of a sudden she's Buck or T or whatever. And it's like, the first episode, the switches are like pretty good overall. But you know, I'm sure that some producer was like, "Hey, I can't tell when she switches." Maybe stress and dissociation headaches are more accurate for representation of the headache we most commonly are experiencing then. Yeah. Yes, you are similar to alters as siblings that grew up in your environment. That is a really helpful thing to us remind ourselves about it whenever imposter syndrome raises its nasty head. Yeah. Not all singlets are ignorant, sure. Some can be mean, lots don't understand, but singlets who take the time to learn are good. Yeah, I mean, that kind of goes without saying, in my opinion. Like, when talking about, like, I don't know, when talking about oppressive singlets and oppressive cis people and stuff, it's more like both saying it to have people maybe examine things that they're doing in their own life, and also just kind of like the general systems of the general like institutions of cisness and singletism and stuff. I feel it so much. For a really overt system, our switches are super obvious and dramatic looking, and we don't want to ever switch on camera because people will analyze them, and it makes me uncomfortable. I'm not gonna make fun. I'm not here to make fun of your typo, but uncomfortable. Also, like, it's a mood. It feels like when people say it in a silly way to like emphasize it. It's always producers. Is United States of Terror worth watching? We just finished Mr. Robot and it was pretty good. Wait, it was super triggering, but overall pretty good. We need to watch Mr. Robot. US of Terra is going to be triggering for you. I'm pretty sure. Is it worth watching? I don't know. It's not that long. It's like 12 hours. Because each one is like half an hour. There's like 12 episodes a season. So that's... Okay, it's 18 hours, but still, that's like 18 episodes of Mr. Robot. To quote Wadsworth Longfellow at Singlets, when she was good, she was very, very good indeed, but when she was bad, she was... Hey, don't steal the intro to our US of Terror video. Like, Audrey fucking bought this for a prop. So that she could pretend to read that poem out of here for the intro of the United States of Terror video. I know you're not talking about the United States of Terror video, but she bought this hoping that the poem was in here, but it's not, so she's just gonna pretend it is. Because that's her feelings on the show. It's worth watching if you go in with low expectations. That's fair. I'm here for that. It was an accident typo, but I'm totally gonna typo in the future. It's a meme with our partner system that we always switch when they leave the room, likely because we're more comfortable when unobserved. Yeah. During therapy, if we're like we want to switch or we feel like we're going to switch, we just turn off the camera at our therapist's suggestion. Because one time we were like, I hate switching like in front of people or like when people are watching, and she was like, "Do you want to just turn off the camera?" Who will it be when we get back from the bathroom is a running gag by now. That's funny. Sorry, Audrey, yeah. Mr. Robot was triggering because specific themes and because the whole season, because it's like a whole season before you know there's DID happening. It isn't the best representation of all time, but I was surprised how many things they did get right. Yeah. I think United States of Terror gets a lot of stuff right, and I think that even the stuff they get wrong, they get right. I'm not going to spoil like every. You're filmed during therapy. We do video therapy, like teletherapy, because the U.S. is still a COVID-ridden hellhole. Oh, sorry. Even the stuff that it gets wrong, it gets right. Cause like the shit that people complain about, like some of the main like, oh, that's an inaccuracy kind of points are, I push my glasses like right up into my eyeballs. Are like, you know, there's plot points where like she has or had a medication that like stopped switching like in the past, and then between seasons 1 and 2 she goes back on it, and then there's stuff where like one alter like kills a bunch of other alters, and thank you for sharing. I forgot video therapy was a thing. Yeah, sorry for being a little rude. And so I'll talk about the medicine thing because I'm sure that Audrey wants to talk, doesn't want me to like spoil her like full dissection of the Bryce storyline. Spoilers. And so the medication plot lines are very much tell, don't show. They literally say like, they literally only say like, hey, I was on a medication that stopped switching for a long time, and between seasons here, I haven't switched in 3 months, so clearly the system is gone as long as I take my medication. It's not. But the thing is that the medication, they specifically list the medications that she's on at one point, and it's all medications for bipolar disorder. So she's being medicated for bipolar disorder, first of all, or schizophrenia, but most likely bipolar disorder because 2 of the drugs are for both bipolar and schizophrenia, but one is like just for bipolar. We're talking about United States of Terror. And even that, it doesn't work. Like, even within the fiction of the show, it's shown not to work. She's switching while on this medication. She just isn't aware of it. Like, beginning of season 2, like the reveal at the end of the first episode is that like Buck just switches out no problem at the end of at the end of the episode, and like close to that end of the episode, there's this moment where someone in the system is like walking around this one area, and you know, Tara claims to have like never really been over to this place, but she has a key to this building, and it's like, yeah, she's been switching. Of course, she's been switching. She just is probably losing time and not quite processing that she's losing time, or in denial that she's losing time, because fucking that's what Depakote does in our experience. If you have good experiences with Depakote, fucking fantastic for you, honestly. But we've had far better experiences with Lamictal than Depakote. So yeah, that's my and Audrey's thoughts on United States of Tarot. How many pages are we up to in this script? Like, we've joked before that this is going to be like the length of an H-Bomber Guy essay, but it's going to be the length of an H-Bomber Guy essay. So far, we're on 17 pages. Single space, 11-point font. I hate Depakote. Fuck Depakote, man. Depakote does have that explains a lot, in our experience. Depakote fucking made us, we talk about this in the script, it made us tired all the time. Like, literally, it felt like we could never get past, like, maybe 50% battery. Like, probably 30% is more accurate. And then, first of all, they were fucking horse pills. Just, like each one, there's no, like, showing this on camera, but, like, each one was, like, that big. And they were, like, thick, too. And they were like pretty expensive on our insurance, and that was the other thing. They gave us just like this insatiable hunger. Like, literally, we pretty much never felt full, and we gained like 40 or 50 pounds on Depakote over the course of like 2 years. Like, when we switched to a different medication, we dropped all that weight, like, almost, well, I'm not going to say almost immediately, because that would be horrifying, but yeah, it sucked. Also, that doctor misgendered us all the time. Fuck that guy. In fact, he was fucking terrible in general, but when we switched to our new psychiatrist, she asked who, like, the last person we saw was, and I was like, oh, Doctor this guy. And she was like, yeah, I've seen a lot of his patients over the years. Like, oh, get him. We haven't found a single psych medication that isn't awful. We've probably literally tried them all. Yeah, some people don't have great reactions to psych medication. I'm sorry. Didn't know Golden Girls had an episode where they talked about a system. That's cool, speaking of series. Yeah, it's like 3 whole minutes, but it's great. Sorry you had to go through that. It is what it is. Things are better now. Thank you, Wellbutrin Lamictal. Let me see. Jeez. I have a question completely unrelated to any previous topics. So we've been mostly away from the online for a while. Lots happening IRL. Did the DID conference thing happen? Yeah, it happened. I don't know much about it. I'm sure that it was... I'm sure it was a thing that people enjoyed attending. Doctor This Guy is a great character name, thanks. DID conferencing, like Entitled to Life, right? Yeah, that happened. Yeah. What else? Yeah. Yeah. Camilla's been poking me about the idea of wrapping up some of my video game streams by streaming her playing chess, which isn't a terrible idea, but also I'm like, honey, chess has the worst backseat gamers of all time, probably. Like, do you really want to open yourself up to that? Like, fucking Hikaru, fucking Grandmaster, gets fucking backseated in his Twitch chat. Chess is so in vogue right now. Can't wait for chess stream. Maybe we'll do that sometime. If this were in OBS, I just use the webcam one when we're doing the sit down chat streams. But if this were in Streamlabs right now, I would just switch over to chess.com probably. It was a cool chess scene, Mr. Robot. Nice. Secret to avoiding that is to play against Chad. Oh. I'm not sure that would go so hot for her either. That'd be a good video that would be a good video, Alter versus Alter within the same system playing chess. That's interesting. Like play it daily and kind of like splice all the videos together. By daily I mean kind of like chess by correspondence. Sorry, I'm hearing a weird noise. I think that's outside. I have distinct alters, but I don't know if I have enough Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to answer your question earlier. I totally skimmed past it. I have a doubt. I have alters, but we don't have much stress or constant dissociation and enough symptoms to be considered OSTD. Is it worth it to look for a therapist and diagnosis, or just stay discovering the system by ourselves? And then I have distinct alters, but I don't know if I have enough symptoms or I'm distressed enough by it to consider it OSTD. Do I look for a therapist and diagnosis or not? Is it better to stay hidden? I think that whatever would help you the most, you should do. I think that I kind of think that everyone should do therapy anyway, if you're able. But I think that seeing a therapist for like, DID symptoms can be really helpful. Like, I don't know. I think it can. I think it can be good, and I definitely don't think that you need a diagnosis to consider yourself a system. I don't think you need DID or OSDD to consider yourself a system. I mean, if you're not distressed by it, you don't have DID or OSDD. Like, by definition, you don't. There are definitely some systems that were diagnosed with MPD back in the day that don't fit DID. So like there are plenty of systems out there, even like medical systems, that do not fit DID or OSDD. I think that you should do your own exploration and find a therapist to help. I also think that you shouldn't get a diagnosis on paper because it can fuck up some things later in life. But that's also maybe just me. Quick question, but does anyone else play games with their system, with other people in your system? Me and my co-hosts have been contemplating doing a card game somehow. That'd be interesting. I think that if you have like a computer program or something, to sound like I'm 90 years old, if you have like a game like on a computer that you can play and you can like save it, you can definitely play it by correspondence, essentially. Sad truth is that therapy is extremely expensive in lots of parts of the world. Many people don't have the money to afford it, though there is sometimes also free therapy if you can find it. I'm not saying that it isn't, or that there, like, people definitely couldn't. Like, there are definitely people who can't afford it, and we're definitely lucky to afford it and be able to see a therapist and to stumble ass backwards into a therapist who is affordable to us and young and good. Like, we are incredibly lucky, and I attribute a fair bit of our progress to the fact that we have a good therapist. Or at least a fair bit of our like rapid progress, but also our therapist attributes a fair bit of our rapid progress to us. So like, I mean, she attributes all of our progress to us, but you know, she says we do so much work on our own. It's not a disorder. It's not distressing. Yeah. For some, it did not work well. Oh, the games. Yeah. Yeah, we have a shared memory, so like, I think like waiting a day between moves would probably like be the best thing to do. Ignorant question, but can you just be multiple? Like OSTD, but without distress. Is there a word for that, or just multiple plural? Yeah, multiple plural system. Like, however you want to call it, that's what you are, man. We're both terrible cheaters, so we'll see how it goes. We used to be bad cheaters as kids. Mostly me. I was a sore fucking loser as a kid too. I mean, if you saw me getting real salty at Fall Guys last night, maybe I am still a little bit of a sore loser. Um, Sorry, I came off as weird. That's fine. But yeah, you can. I always say like you don't need to fucking label yourself with anything. You don't need a diagnosis. You don't need. You can just be. You don't need to like show everyone in the community your papers. You know, like we are like quote unquote professionally diagnosed or whatever, but we don't put that in our description or whatever. We don't talk about that so much on YouTube. It's just like, you know, our therapist has straight up said like, you know, since you have DID or whatever, she's never sat us down and be like, you have DID, let me hand you a certificate. But like, she's said it enough that like, you know, is it? Me and Fritz are literally so competitive and hate losing, so we're in the same boat. Pandemic, Eldritch Horror, and Dead of Winter are the best games I've found for play with other alters. Heavy trigger warning for all three games, so make sure you check them out ahead of time. Yeah. Pandemic is a great game. Pandemic fucking slaps. Back when we were dating, and we need a name for her we need a name for both the exes on stream. Why did you post an emoji of a bee? Bee? Yeah, fuck it. Back when we were dating B, there was a golden age for 3-player games in this household. Because, you know, me, Mads, and her would, and by me I mean the royal me here, mostly Sandra. But we would play a lot of board games, and we would specifically play a lot of Pandemic Legacy because we couldn't play it with two people really. And we got real far into it. We got like halfway through. Pandemic Legacy is Pandemic board game, but you keep playing it essentially. Win or lose, like you keep going and things permanently change on the board. Like you add stickers to it and you like rip up cards, and it's cool. It's also really fucking hard. It's fucking hard, man. We were probably gonna like lose. I'm trying to get to know my alters by seeing which of my phone games they like. I'm sorry that the screen keeps shaking. It's because I'm kicking the fucking table that my laptop is on. Dead of Winter rocks so hard. Is Dead of Winter a zombie game? I think it's a hidden roll game, right? But I feel like it has a zombie theme. Dead of Winter. It feels like a pun. Board Game Geek. Yeah, it's a zombie game. Oh, interesting. So it's sort of like it's a hidden role game where people isn't everyone has their own like secret goal, and some of them are like specifically to fuck up the colony. That's fun. We should play that. I'm sure that's 3 players and up, right? 2 to 5 players. Let's go. Oh man, Amazon.com. How much? Dead Cutter. I'm sure Camilla would fucking love that. She's Zombies Run right now. $60. That's. I'm sure it's worth it. The Broken Token Box Organizer for Dead of Winter. More games should have that, even if it's $36 extra. Jesus Christ. Yeah. Something to look at. Anyway. Wonder if there's a tabletop sim mod. Oh, I'm positive there is. But like I like the feelies. You know? Zombie survival game with possible hidden roll zombie game. It's like one of those long games. Oh, I love me a long game. Except Eldritch Horror. I'm sorry. No, Arkham Horror. Fuck Arkham Horror. Arkham Horror has the worst written instructions of all time. It's a cool game once you know what the fuck you're doing. But the instructions are written terribly. It takes 3 hours to play, and in my experience, you probably will lose. So it's like, cool, do I want to waste 3 hours playing Arkham Horror? Or do I want to play, like, Forbidden Island, like, 6 times? Ooh, we're having the royal meat. That's top-notch, thanks. That's one of the ways our partner knows who's how. Some of us really like certain games. That's nice. Probably get it a lot cheaper at a game shop, I'm sure. Possibly. Nearest game shop's like 40. Well, I don't know if do I want to say the name of a local game shop on stream? Probably not. I don't know if that one is still open. That one's like 15 or 20 minutes away, but there's one like 40 minutes away that's a lot better. So many tokens for that game is massive, but definitely worth the cost. Yeah, I have. It looks like. Does it have more tokens than fucking Betrayal at House on the Hill? Because that one has a lot of tokens. That's why we bought the fucking dime bags and shit. Even though these ones are way too small, we need different dime bags. I can't play any board games because they confuse me so much compared to video games, which I play a lot. That's valid. Forbidden Island is fun. There was also a game a friend of ours wanted to play that's based off of like those old 80s slashers, and it's a hidden role-playing board game. Interesting. Hey, Campfire System is here. Hello, Tara. Yeah, Betrayal is great. Just about as many tokens, but since the board is already in one place, it doesn't feel as huge. That makes sense. Not as sprawling and stuff. Every time you talk about Camilla, I'm like, what? I'm sorry, Camille. One of the characters has the same birthday as the body. In Betrayal? Nice. Do you remember which one? I know that when we play, we usually play as either the little girl or not Flash Thompson, because I think Mads plays as Flash Thompson a lot. One of them. I think we usually play as the little girl because she's a good mix of like fast and like has an intelligence stat. Just watched an episode of Red Dwarf called Camille. Do you think you'll get to 10k subs in 2021? It's possible. I could see it happening. Who's fronting? Claudia right now. I keep saying I'm gonna switch out, but then I don't. What episode of Red Dwarf is Camille? Red Dwarf Camille. First episode of season 4. Oh, it's the one with like the shapeshifter. Like she's a psychic. She does brain shit to you to think that like she's like whatever you want her to be. That's funny. Lister informs the crew that Camille is actually a pleasure gelf, genetically engineered life form, designed to appear to each individual as the object of their desire, and is really a slimy green blob with tentacles. It's funny. Notification just popped up on Discord that said our voice is really calming. Thanks. I think it was the perihelions. Perihelions. Diehard Flash main myself, that's valid. Has anyone played Wolf Among Us? Yeah. We own Wolf Among Us, and we've seen it played. I'm not sure we played it ourselves. For Telltale games, I love the first Walking Dead season. Everything else is fucking trash, in my opinion. Third Walking Dead season was okay. Second season fucking sucks. God damn. What a goddamn disappointment. I'm gonna tear that shit apart all day if I'm not. It made me so mad. Whoop. Have you ever played virtual reality games? No, I haven't. I'd love to. I think that would be fun. Technically, I think the Alexandrites have more than 10,000 followers. Yeah, I don't know. I could see us getting there, but it would take a lot of work. We would also probably need to put out a lot more videos a lot more consistently and maybe on a lot more mainstream topics. I don't know. Then again, Ring System doesn't put out a lot of videos, and they're getting there. So, you know. Maybe. I didn't think that we would reach 1,500 by the end of the year, and we're over it already. So that's cool. We started out the year at 200 subscribers. No. We started out the year at like 150 subscribers. We hit 200 like sometime in January. We have a pretty steady growth of like 100 to 150 subscribers a month. Yeah. No way, you're a dwarfer? Yeah. Our dad got us into it back in like high school. I like it a lot. I like it. I like the first like 5 seasons the most. 6 is okay. 7 is where I drop out. I tend to use Ouroboros as a finale, because I think that's very thematically relevant. Either that or the one where Rimmer becomes the new Ace Rimmer. They could have a big break and skyrocket to 100,000 subs in 1 year if they have a hit video, possibly. We're kind of like holding out hope that the United States of Terror video will be that. That will be our Sherlock is terrible and here's why. We're big H-Bomber Guy fans in this house. I wish that were me. I forget what that were me was. The green blob with tentacles? Do you wish that were you? Maybe? She looked like something that dropped out of a sphinx's nose, quote unquote. Yeah. Yes, Walking Dead. Y'all should get an official Discord server. I'm going to tell you, we have an official Discord server, and I'll link it in chat now. Nope, do not create channel. Create invite. Copy. Paste. Never heard the ring system before. Wow. Someone who's heard of us and not the ring system. Let's go. Never thought I'd see the day. I agree with you, but 8 is good too. That's fair. I just can't make it through 7. Stoke Me a Kipper, yeah, is the best spot for a finale. It's after 4 a.m. Go to bed. It's been nice to catch a stream and check in. Have a good day. Have a nice night. Yeah, shape-shifting tentacle is valid. Have you changed your mind on United States of Terra? I think it's grown on Audrey, but I think the more stuff that she finds that she likes about it, the more stuff she finds she hates about it. Hey, Cypher's here. Welcome to the stream. I actually heard of you first and then Rings. Wow. Who knew? Who knew? Yeah, ever since we did our video with Emengard last year, can you believe it? There's this bit where Sandra is like, you know, I forget what it was. It was like, you know, everyone has their own individual things, and like no one in a system is really a bad guy or something like that. And Emengard is just like, who knew? And I think about that all the time. I always recommend y'all and Rings to new plurals. Nice. Ugh. Oof. Nice. Appreciate that. Yeah, we always recommend ring system to like singlets in our life for like information. Meant to catch the stream last night, but after we ended our stream and made dinner, I felt sick. That's valid. You missed us getting beaten, getting our ass beat by a 13-year-old in the street. Spoilers. It was a good stream. I mentioned it earlier, but 10k subs followers. I was meaning because so many of your followers are plural. That's valid. I mean, like, if each system who follows us has like 15 subscribers, then like, yeah, we're there. Have you considered doing like a podcast or releasing a video per episode of United States of Terror? That's interesting. Ooh. I'll have to ask Audrey about that. I mean, we are doing like the big video no matter what, but maybe like a United States of Terror rewatch. Maybe we can like do that with Rings or someone, maybe our spouse or someone. Who knows? We found Rings first, but what really kept us watching was their collaboration video with you. Why being friends with other systems is important. That's a good video. Yeah. I thought you had a positive opinion of it, but I may have misremembered watching your videos. Yeah, we started off pretty positive from like season 1. Then season 2 just like dropped right off after like episode 3. Yeah, so like Audrey loves it, but she doesn't like it. I think that's probably how she would put it. I thought you had a positive opinion of it. Oh, I literally just read that. We don't like United States of Terror. Yeah, that's valid. Oh, Other Worlds. Yeah, we did Among Us with you, and we were with you in Minecraft last night. I don't know why I didn't recognize you for a second. Weekly video with you and Rings we were watching United States of Terror would be amazing. Yeah. We feel the same about some shows. Yeah. Sandra's actually been planning on doing this this like TikTok series where she like takes 1 minute and explains the plot of every Animorphs book. That I think she would have a lot of fun with that probably. Yeah. We gotta do System Among Us again sometime. I think USFT was the first plural-focused media we consumed. We knew a couple of plurals who considered their plurality much more spiritual origin, and they recommended it. Neat. Yeah. Am I really going to switch now? It would be great if our internet works all the way through. That's so valid. We are always Goosebump kids from what we've heard. Animorphs is wild. Animorphs is great. Animorphs is like some solid kid sci-fi. And by kid, I mean like young adult sci-fi. Those kids get hurt. Trying to join the Discord, but scanning the QR code makes it shut down, and I don't know my password. RIP. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, that link is going to be good for 24 hours. So, also, if you you can always message us, and we'll do it again. Audrey's kind of pushing to come out and like talk about United States of Terror since we're like talking about it already, but also I'm like, save it for your video. I mean, we could just have Audrey out and she can do like a little Q&A since she never like is on these things. Camilla too. I mean, Camilla probably would want to talk about running because she's been really into Zombies Run. She's gotten very emotionally invested in Sam Yao and Dr. Myers and all of them. So yeah. I hate doing this. I hate doing it when we like need to go all quiet to either like decide who is going to be fronting. Oh, I hate this. Love your hair today, Camilla. Not quite Camilla, but thank you. God, fucking damn. It's fucking Claudia and Audrey like switching back and forth here. Not trying to like cool down the back of my neck. I'm actually trying to like, my neck is really hurting like right here. I think we need a new pillow. Yeah, looking at my pillow, we need a new pillow. Switch time is quiet time or echolalia time. That's well. Can't decide, just go front. Yeah. Okay, quick poll. Would people want to hear from Audrey? Not even just about US of T, just like anything. But we're gonna see a huge spike here. Is that my phone? Oh, hey, Amazon package got here. Which one's arrived? Anyway, sorry. Yeah, sorry to just kind of go quiet here, like in the middle of the stream. I know that some people really appreciate the really appreciate seeing the switches and seeing the dissociation, like the not being able to function, and seeing that we're you know, like a person too. Pardon, I'm being told that we stepped on glass yesterday, and that there may still be like a tiny little fragment in our foot. We're fine. Yeah. Susan knocked over a bottle of olive oil, and it shattered. It happens. It's a disorder, not a spectacle. Yeah. Is that a quote from the Golden Girls episode? Hey, check on body thing now that you're fronting in such a mood. Yes. So, Claudia is still blended in, as you can probably tell from the facial expressions and things, and some word choices. But I, Audrey, am trying to retain front. Yeah, it is. Sorry, we're like 80% meme, 85% meme. Pardon. So, any questions? I don't really. Hey, 85% Audrey. It's very weird to see myself live here and have this be the only thing to focus on, because when we do therapy with our therapist, it's like most of the screen is her and then we're up in the corner here, so I don't have to look at myself. And other people do the editing when I do videos. It's I've described my thoughts on the body as two separate things. I've described there are people who feel the body is too big or too small for them, and I agree that the body is too small for me, but the body is something like the children sort of see the body as something they wear, like they wear. It's something that's too big for them, and they just sort of like puppet it, I suppose. But wonder if that's something that can be researched. Put a post over the main part of yourself on the computer screen. Possibly. I could always just pop out the chat. Hopefully it reloads. There we are. There we are. Now I don't have to look at myself. Hello to you, Cypher. I don't believe we have spoken either. What was I going to say? The children view the body as something that they wear, but I view the body as something that wears me. And I've spoken about this on Twitter, where I, due to my inner world appearance, view myself as a lot larger than the body. And our dissociation yawns a thing. I see myself as an overcoat that the body wears. That's basically the easiest way to put it. I've also we were talking about bottom surgery with our therapist. A few of us have talked about this over the last couple of months. She's sort of gauging everyone's opinions on it and seeing who needs to work out what with it. And I was saying that I really had no opinion on it. If it made the others happy, that's more than fine with me. And she asked why I didn't have an opinion on it, or she asked what my thoughts on the body were, essentially. And she She asked me that, and I told her that I view the body as a friend's car that I drive often. Like a friend goes and picks me up at work, and then I drive their car home. So I am very familiar with the car, and I like the car, and I think that it's a very good car, and but it's not my car, and whatever my friend wants to do with it is fine by me. Um, and she seemed to very much understand that metaphor. So, or is it a simile? Did I say like? If I said like, then it's a simile. I've definitely experienced social dissociation. I have a lot of friends with dissociative disorders, and it can spread through the group pretty quickly. That makes sense. Need to get our clippers. We have a lot of bits of skin that like hang off near your fingers. Are those what hangnails are? I've heard that called a hangnail, but I always just call it like skin. We have like long scars from doing this as children. Like areas like on each side of our thumb here are just like a different color because we don't leave it alone. I know a system that pretty much you can tell they're going to switch because they start yawning. You're so articulate, thank you. Very interesting way to put it, thank you. Never really thought about how the body feels to us. I guess I'm just too tall for it. I'm just a funny cartoon man. I cannot empathize with being a funny cartoon man, but I can empathize with feeling too tall for the body. I know that Adam of Faces of One has expressed the body being too small, but in the way that he feels like claustrophobic in it. I can't relate to that, but I think that definitely a different way of experiencing the same thing, you know? God. Our littles feel agoraphobic in our body. Interesting. Agoraphobic as in fear of the outside, fear of open spaces. Like there's too much open space in the body. Interesting. You got a system account now. Very nice. It'll be a lot easier to recognize you. They can see too far, it makes the world seem bigger. Interesting. Yes. So, I think that here's a question. How many systems here have relationships within their own system? Like two system members who are dating or together in some other way. There's the E. I'm trying to find a Y. Because I got it. I know this is terribly engaging to watch. Fine, I'll dig one out. We have a couple of them mentioned this in the stream, but my little has a very hard time with the body, and she gets really self-conscious when it comes to her voice. I can understand that. We have a lot of littles who feel similarly, mostly about the voice and about things like facial hair. I don't mind the voice. I think that the baritones are very rich, and I know that a lot of people have expressed that they find our voice comforting. So I think that it's definitely something that I can lean into instead of away from. But certainly to each their own system. Does the letter Y not exist? There it is. Let's see. We do. We have a couple of them in here. We definitely do. Most of us are airways, so I think not. I may have read that already. I don't know about specifics, but a lot of us tend to vaguely feel like this body isn't quite right, but it is what it is. We do have a bunch of tall folks in here, so there's that. We had one, but it tapered out a bit due to external stress. We do not. We have some familial relationships and a lot of twins, but no dating. We don't. So it seems pretty 50-50 from the people who have expressed that. We do have multiple relationships in our system, both serious and casual. Sandra and Ellen have a whole video about about being in a relationship from back when they were together. Where did the letter U go? Where did I put that? They're no longer together, as I said, due to I suppose external stress, but also internal stress. They're on good terms. But I'm not sure if we've mentioned that Dice and Claudia were a thing for a while. They had a pretty nasty breakup in August of last year. If you listen to any videos where we talk about where Sandra talks about, sorry, Boober, where Sandra talks about hearing Dice and Claudia arguing very loudly in the front, that is what that argument was, or is one of many breakup arguments. And they're back together now. They worked a lot of things out. I think that they are dating, but not like. I'm not going to define their relationship for them. But very recently, and I may get in trouble for talking about other people's business here, but in a way it does concern me. A couple of weeks ago I asked her therapist whether she thought that when she took on our case or whatever, if she thought that that talking to us would involve so much internal relationship drama, and she said no, but it's very fascinating. But anyway, so Dice and Camilla are sort of casually dating. They're casually dating. They're not putting a name on it yet. They may never put a name on it. And Dice and Camilla are my best friends. you know, they're both only a little bit younger than me, and they're grown-ups in the system, and they are you know, I'm pretty sure that neither of them, I know Camilla certainly wasn't, but neither of them were children in the system, so it's not something that, you know, I don't have to shift a relationship from parent to friend with them. They just get to be my friends. And Dice and I, in the past, have had little flings. Nothing serious, very very casual. But I'd like to make it clear that I'm not jealous of this. Or at least if I am, it's not the main feeling I have around this. But I suppose that I have this fear around Camilla and Dice dating, that if Camilla and Dice date and they break up, which is always a possibility in a relationship, then I'll no longer have my two best friends. I'll have my one friend and my one friend. You know, I after that therapy session where I mentioned that to the relationship thing to our therapist, I ended up making a chart of relationships in our system. Excuse me. Both, you know, romantic and sexual and otherwise. And I made a joke in therapy that you know, when I mentioned that Dice and I had been together in the past, that you know, if you're counting now, this is what, 7 people that Dice has been with, which isn't accurate. It's 5. 5? No, 4. Pardon. But she asked if I was concerned, or if I was concerned or jealous or upset that it was, you know, a higher number of people. And you know, I don't feel that way. It's not an issue that there's, you know, multiple people between us, especially when we're not it went to loading and loading and loading, and then we just gave it. Hang on. Is anyone else having a hard time watching the stream right now? Just for the record? No. Okay. I just saw somebody say that in Discord. So that was Naomi Embers is here. Hello. The Embers sampled my voice for a song that they're that they're making. I don't know if it's one of you or all of you, but they sampled my a bit of my video about being unique. I don't know either. It's understandable. They sampled a bit of the video talking about being unique, where I said there's nothing wrong with wanting to be special, and it's a wonderful song. I've thought a lot about it. The last 12 hours or so. So anyway, that chart. I'm not going to fully explain it, and I will actually have to move this so I can see. But the thing was, I jokingly said, like, Dice is involved with so many people, and I went and made the chart, and I realized that I had to put Dice at the center of it because they had so many connections with other people in the system, romantic and sexual. And perhaps this is trying to decide whether or not this is an invasion of their privacy. I think it is. I shouldn't show this. But if you have any doubts, it could be that it is an invasion of privacy. Yes. Also, someone else said, jealousy might have the wrong connotation here, but fear of loss seems to apply, and basically at the root of that anyway. That makes sense. In our system, I don't believe anyone is dating, but there's a queer platonic relationship with two friends helping to raise children. That's very nice. Oh, dang, they have good taste then. Dice? No, embers, I think you're referring to. The embers do have good taste. Updated version of a song. Interesting. Or updated cat version? I don't know. But updated song, yes. So they're basically Claudia, me, Camilla, Ellen, Sandra, Dice. There are 6 of us in the system that have been in or are actively in relationships with others in some sort of way. And Dice has been with 4 out of 5 of them, including myself. 4 out of 5 of the other options, not including them, of course. I guess a fear of loss is most accurate. And they're all working on communication, better communication now, because Camilla Dice and Claudia didn't start off on the best foot altogether. But I have cautious optimism about it, but it still worries me. And that is, I don't know why exactly I wanted to talk about this. I originally came out to, I don't know, discuss United States of Terror or something, or ask, or answer some questions. But, it's always good to self-reflect on your feelings. Yeah. So does anyone have any questions? We like hearing people talk about in-system relationships. It's too rare a topic. Yes, that was one of the things we initially wanted to cover on our channel. The two, funny enough, the two main ones were that and sex. So I suppose we've talked a bit about both here today. What other series do you like? Anything comedic? I will fully admit that I haven't watched a lot of television. I feel that I watched something with Mads that I enjoyed. I've watched a lot of YouTube as well. I've been enjoying listening to other video essays, sort of as an excuse to sort of figuring out how to structure my own video essay. I mean, the others have already said H Bomber Guy. I quite like Dan Olson's work as well. You know, all of the friends there. I've gotten into Sarah Zed. Yeah. How do you feel about the idea of a factive of an ex still living in a relationship in the inner world? If that's what's happening in your system, then that's what's happening. I don't think that you can help interjecting someone into your system, and I don't think that you can help if they're with someone in your system. They're their own person, you know? I find the things that are already filling my mind tend to be the things that flood out when we start talking. That makes sense. It's sort of like the doorway effect, where passing through a doorway makes you forget that why you entered the room. You came to front to talk about one thing, forgot, and then started talking about another. We constantly forget what we want to talk about when we switch. Yeah. Sarah Zed is like a real blast from the past. The first video that we watched from her was the one about the quote-unquote author of My Immortal who emailed her, and the weird web and rabbit hole that she went down in researching this person. First of all, anyone who's seen that video, big system vibes there. And then, secondly, it gave us the same unsettling feelings of for glow that a lot of ARGs give us, or a lot of like the creepier ARGs, where essentially our gag reflex just starts going. It was a good video, and then from there we watched one on DashCon and Broadway bootlegs and all sorts of other things. It's she does good work. I've seen many singlet system relationships where the singlet does not wish to learn more about DID or the alters and tries to shut it out. I find it to be very rude and disrespectful. Yes. There's no other way to put that. It's very rude and disrespectful, and it shows a real lack of empathy and a real lack of desire to fully know your partner and not just know the person that you want them to be or the person you expect them to be. We're close with a system who's engaged to someone who shuts down any conversation about their system. It's so saddening. Dump him. That's how I feel. We're dating a number of people who are singlets before figuring out their plurality. I think we're only dating one singlet who is actually a singlet, and they love all of us. That's very sweet. I think that polyamorous relationships are very interesting. I find that in my therapy, I end up being concerned about the idea of relationships a lot. And we've been trying to get them to dump him. It's a slow process. Understandable. I feel we are very lucky that our partner is such an understanding and sweet person who has a lot of nice relationships with everyone in the system. And he's sweet. You are lucky. Not in the sense that everyone else has a terrible... it's more likely that someone is going to have someone who's terrible and doesn't like their system, but the fact that you found someone that you like and trust and can grow with, and they can grow with you. I think that's an incredibly lucky thing to find. Not everyone finds that, and not everyone can cultivate that, even if they didn't initially find it. That's what I was going to say. I often find that I've brought up a few times being concerned about different relationships in the system. There was this person who came back into our life, and I expressed some slight discomfort because they came from a very difficult time in our life, even if they themselves weren't a difficult person necessarily. And I said that this friendship would be fine as long as people in the system don't do the thing they usually do, where a friendship very quickly becomes a crush. And I suppose we haven't really done this in years. A lot of the others have more just allowed themselves to feel a crush without needing to act on it and without constantly pining for it, which is nice. But our therapist asked me, what if what if this person wants to start a relationship? Would you be open to that? Would you be fine with that? And it's not something I considered. And she said, because the others have said once you leave the house and you buy your own house, the open relationship is probably going to start again. Would you consider yourself being in a relationship with someone? And I don't know the answer. And I think that I don't know. The way I see it, it's similar to going into a relationship with children, in a relationship where the other person has children, I should say. If that was the situation, your partner refused to talk to your children, would you remain in the relationship? Exactly. I think that's a very, very good one. I feel that, not acting on crushes. I've been finding healing in being single and not putting all my happiness in a relationship. Yes. Is anyone here out as, I mean, I don't know if this is a question for y'all or a question for everyone in the chat, y'all. I think it's probably a question for anyone in the chat. We are not plural, out as plural at work. That's a question for anyone who's not reading the chat. We find that it would be counterintuitive at the moment to be out as plural in our current job. When we finish our art therapy degree, we're going to be openly plural. But for the moment, no reason to. The detriments far outweigh the benefits, in our opinion. We're not out as plural anywhere where we're not anonymous. I can understand that. Not even plural. We're not even out as plural to our soon-to-be ex-husband. It's rough. You know, as a child of divorce, you wouldn't think that would be so, that our typical reaction would be, good for them. But I find nowadays that our reaction to someone leaving a spouse who's not fantastic is good for them, as frankly it should be. Sorry, someone left a comment on a video here. Yeah. I feel like I don't even know enough about my system to meaningfully come out to a singlet. My boyfriend and his family are the only ones in our physical life who know about our plurality. Everyone else is online. That sounds lovely, actually. We're thinking about doing so at our work simply because we feel we can trust our coworkers. They handled us being trans when we came out to the company absolutely wonderfully. One of our coworkers being our HR manager. A couple of our coworkers are friends and know, but not many in the company as a whole. That is your choice, and I think that there is. I think that one should always consider, what do you want to get out of this? Like, what do you hope will change? And that is all I really have to say on that. I didn't understand how divorce could be a good thing until my brother explained his experiences with our parents' divorce. Yeah. I'm not going to tell our business fully here, but there is one or more system members that were formed around our parents' divorce. And by around, I mean like as a result. It was something that, as a child who was old enough to understand what was happening, was incredibly traumatic for us. but once things settled down, it felt a bit more stable than having them fight all the time and things at home. That is all I will say. Honestly, I wish our birthers would divorce. The sperm donor is kind of passively abusive to the egg donor. That sounds terrible. We were too young to remember it, but he said for the first time the house was quiet. Yes. Yes. I've been thinking about whether to include a fairly personal thing about my feelings towards the show in my Terra video, dealing with our past and what is likely my origin point. Because I suspect that's a reason why. One of the reasons why I have such an attachment to the show. It allows me to work through some of those feelings. It's a decision I'll have to put some serious thought and serious conversation into. So, any more questions? I'm thinking of wrapping this up at 1:30. So 10, 15 minutes here. How am I doing? I'm contemplative, I suppose. Is that safe for you if it feels like a good thing to include? Also for people who would watch it. Thank you. It was really interesting. I learned a bit more about DID. I'm glad that we could do that for you. And to answer how I'm doing, I'm fine. I suppose that one doesn't realize just how useful. I won't say that this is exactly talking to myself, but it sort of is. Just how useful talking to oneself can be. Yes. I guess until there are other questions, maybe I'll read a couple of points from the Terra video that I'm going to end up talking about. Because I have 30 plus points here. I'll read maybe 5. There's a psychologist that they end up seeing in the 3rd season who doesn't believe in DID, and I feel that his not believing in DID actually gives Tara a reason or an excuse to get control over her life and to take responsibility for the rest of her system. Claudia talked about the medicine already, But overall, United States of Terror is about a woman who is absolutely failed by the psych system. Her medicines are for a disorder that she does not show signs of having. Her therapist dismisses her, and the next closest thing she has to one is a professor at the University of Kansas. Do you have any cool show recommendations? Well, let's look for our Hulu. I'm sure that Camilla wants me to recommend The Queen's Gambit on Netflix. It's a show about a United States of Terror is on Hulu. My stuff. Yeah, it's on Hulu. Queen's Gambit is about a a woman who is a chess prodigy, I suppose. I will trigger warn for addiction, and implied suicide, and I suppose some sex. But very thankfully, I do not have to trigger warn sexual assault because they do not use that incredibly tired method of stirring up drama in a thing about a woman. What are you planning on doing after the stream? Eating, and then I'm going to be wrapping gifting day gifts for both members of the system and our partner system, and our father as well, because we sent our books, the books that we got for him here, as opposed to his place, because we actually don't know the new address to send things to him, because I believe he moved in with our stepmother. Howdy, good morning. Well, howdy. We're actually wrapping up soon. Sorry. What are you going to eat? I was thinking a grilled cheese. I think that's very easy to make. I have to do dishes as well. I'll do that too. Yeah, for we got our father a bunch of graphic novels that mean a lot to us. Two are trans themed, and one is Fun Home by Alison Bechdel, lesbian themed. Lesbian themed and about a suicidal father. It's a book that Claudia relates to a lot. Oh, yes, more shows. Let me see. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia is good, but you know that it is like purposefully offensive. But it's framed in a way where the people who are doing the offending, the main characters, are always in the wrong, and therefore their actions are always wrong. Community is very good. It's a comedy about a community college and sort of the antics that go on there. Gravity Falls, if you haven't watched it, is good. It's a series about about a brother and sister who go and live with their great uncle who runs a tourist trap in like rural Oregon. Have I seen Glow? I've not seen Glow. I've heard Glow is good, I think. Unless Glow, I don't remember which one Glow is. Never mind. I've heard Glow is good. Misfits. The first 2 or 3 seasons of Misfits is very good. I will even tell you there is a character who can very, very easily be read as a system. He shows up in season 3. Misfits is about juvenile delinquents who there's this storm in England where they live, and a bunch of people who were outside during the storm and got struck by lightning all received superpowers. And so it's a superhero show about people who probably have no business being superheroes. It's sort of the joke. I would say it's a comedy drama. It's very good up through the end of season 3. The Good Place is also a good show, as a couple of people in the chat have said. Cypher says it has good messages about growth and change. Even though it's about the afterlife, it's not really based around religion. Yes. Regular show is good. Clarence is very good, if you're into cartoons. Honestly, I would say skip season 1, but it's fairly short. Raising Hope is interesting. Raising Hope is... So Raising Hope has a... the creator of that show has done a couple of shows, and they all take a bit to explain. Raising Hope is about a high school dropout who he meets this woman who turns out to be a serial killer who kills men that she has sex with, and he ends up having sex with her, but she gets caught before she can kill him, and it turns out that she got pregnant, and then she ends up getting the electric chair after she has their child. So he ends up in the custody with this child in his custody, and that's the show. It's very strange, but it's interesting. It's funny. It also has a lot of cast crossover with Malcolm in the Middle, which is a show I'm going to be mentioning in my United States of Terror video. 30 Rock is also very good. Venture Brothers. Both of those, again, take them as period pieces, generally. Archer, Bob's Burgers, Futurama. I think that's enough recommendations. Third Rock from the Sun, people have said. I haven't seen that, but I've heard it's good. Someone recommended Dairy Girls, Kippo and the Wonder Beasts, Kippo and the Age of Wonder Beasts, pardon. Hilda, I've heard Hilda is good. I think that's, maybe I'll watch that today. Malcolm in the Middle is very good. This will be the thing I wrap up with here. So, in my Terror video, I talk about how no one in the family ever wins. Like, everyone pretty constantly gets screwed over. And the same can very much be said for Malcolm in the Middle. In fact, Malcolm in the Middle, it says right in the theme song, and I would say the theme or thesis of the show is life is unfair. And the main difference I see is that when life is unfair is played for comedy, it's watchable and it's funny and it's good TV. And as long as you don't, like, it's not literally all the time, it's good. But when Life is Unfair is played for drama and tragedy, it's frustrating and difficult to watch. The metaphor that I wrote is, if I can find it, there it is. When Lucy pulls the football away from Charlie Brown and he makes a quip, it's funny. If he cried, you just want him to kick the damn ball and win for once, and you get more frustrated seeing him suffer over and over and over again. And that is very much how I feel about the show. I think that the characters lose too often, and I can't get fucking open the chat. Why can I not use my hands right now? There we are. God damn. What was I going to say? No one in the family ever wins, and it's hard to get invested in a storyline when you know that it's going to end in tragedy. Like in season 3, Kate decides that she's going to go and teach English in Japan, which when I first saw that, I said to myself, what a great opportunity for her. That seems fantastic based on everything we know about her character. And what happens is that she is about to get on the plane to Japan and freaks out and just ends up not going. And that's it. That's the second time that she tries to get on the plane. The first time, she's originally going to go to Osaka, and the 2011 earthquake and tsunami happens, and Osaka suddenly isn't a viable place to go and teach English. So she ends up getting relocated to Niigata. Niigata? One of the two. I don't know the pronunciation. I need to look that up. And before she gets on, she's talking to this woman in the bathroom, and she mentions that she's going to be teaching English in Niigata, and the woman goes, "Oh dear God!" And Kate asks, what's in Niigata, and she says, hopefully a life lesson and a swift train back to Tokyo. And Kate, that ends up being what freaks Kate out. And I initially tweeted when she first, got to this point of I'm going to teach English in Japan. I said, what a great opportunity for her. It's too bad the show won't let it happen. And lo and behold, I was right. So those are my feelings on the United States of Terra as a whole. I think that partly summarizes it. For the rest, you will have to watch my video whenever it comes out. Thank you all very much for watching the stream. I did not expect to be the person here for this, but I'm very glad that I ended up being the person for this at the end. It's always lovely to spend time with the community. I very much enjoy it. So I'm going to go eat and wrap presents and perhaps watch Hilda, who the etc. system says is about a young girl who lives alone with her good supportive mother in the wilderness, interacts in a lot of friendly, explorative, wonderful ways with magical beings around her. That sounds lovely. So thank you all for coming out, and I hope that you all have a lovely, lovely day. Take care of yourselves and be well. I'll see you next time.